Right. Hello, everyone. I am back talking about how to make Germany great again. This is a project that's been going on for quite a while. It was started by a conversation I had with John Gordon from South Africa, and um, and I've been thinking about it quite a lot recently. I've been doing my Germany competitive video, which got a lot of comments. People had their own favorites that they wanted to throw in the pot. Um, so, and most of it is something that was covered or like have been covered in previous videos. My issue with Germany was and is that their national special rules don't really benefit any particular playstyle. They're not particularly good at any one aspect of the game. Americans are really good at skirmishing. Um, the Soviets have an awesome selection of infantry. Um, the Brits have those selection of different national rules. The Japanese are really good in close combat. The Germans just right. Their national special rules don't benefit a certain playstyle. So what I think I've arrived at right now is that there are two main ways that you can play Germans successfully. You can do the mixed bag, which I think is where the most success comes in. But I may get back to you on that because this weekend we just had the Megatron 3000 yesterday, and in that, the winner, the current Scottish champion Andrew McKay, he won using a German theatre platoon. So, and I haven't seen this platoon yet, so I'm really curious what that was all about. But I know that Andrew has run successfully when he won the Scottish Championship. He also ran a German list, and that had 88s in it. So maybe it's an artillery gun line type of army. We'll see. But I think that you run the mixed bag or you run the Nukebasher with Germans. Because with Germany, you can get real cheap access to multiple rocket launchers, and you can have multiple rocket launchers in several of your selection choices because you can get it in the tank choice as well. Um, and there are choices there that are pretty cheap and competitive. I know Matthias would want me to. Matthias is one of the guys playing at my club. He would want me to mention the Warhammer, although I don't think it's the best multi-rocket launcher at all. I think you can do way better and choose better. But that aside, um, yeah, I also think that the, the national special rules is one of the issues I think that there are with German special rules, and I also think that one of the problem is that Germany you have all the tools available and everything is expensive, um, so you're very easily distracted into buying stuff that is very point inefficient compared to what you can get in other armies. That is. Maybe especially compared to the Soviets, because the Soviets have also quite a broad selection of stuff they can choose. So, so with the Germans, you sort of become. It's so easy to buy all this cool stuff that you get at a very much better points for value in other armies. So there is definitely a challenge here going forward in what you're going to do with Germany, with the points for value issue, and and that is why I think when you're playing competitive Germans, you really need to be on point with how you spend your points. You really need to make every single point work for you in a way that's beneficial to your playstyle and in a way that's beneficial to your build, um, and not waste too many points. Now, Gordon, this whole talk is based on the fact that Gordon he sent me a list that he's going to try out. It's going to be a German skirmish list. So I think we should go and watch his list and talk about it while we do that, and maybe talk about some of the issues that are just brought up here. So this is sort of a mix between a list review and a what a make Germany great again thing. Right? Can we see the list now? And where I am in the corner. Sorry about this. Just need to check with the software. Right. So 15 order dice, good order dice point setting, 1,000 points on the dot. Right. He has the 3-man lieutenant unit. That makes it into an infantry unit. I think you're going to have to need to do this, especially because you can equip them with assault rifles, meaning they can become useful, which is pretty good. And I know that he would want them to be in a Kugelwagen, which is a nice combination. Those 6 shots that they can deliver late game, that can actually clean off semi-hurt units or small teams. Then we have the Waffen SS late war unit here, veterans. 4 submachine guns, 2 assault rifles, and 2 Panzerfausts. I'm not sure that I would... the assault rifles. I know you want them to be there for that extra range. For me, that is a point where you have to debate the usefulness of that range versus the extra points that you're paying. Because you are paying a few extra points for those assault rifles. And do they really benefit you that much? The unit as a whole, I can really get that unit. That is 6 men, veterans. They will be brought up in a heavy field car, I guess, and they will get off, and they will deliver a lot of pain with all those submachine guns. That is a good assault type unit. And the 2 Panzerfaust in it is, of course, brilliant, because that will mean that you can throw them against enemy armor. So yes, I like this unit, although I question the extra points thrown into the assault rifle, simply because most of the time you will be in that heavy field car, you will drive up to a target, and you will want the submachine guns to be in range. So why the extra points for the assault rifles? I think perhaps we could save up a few of these points, these extra points that Gordon's paying around this list, and buy something that would help the list with those points. Again, we have this unit here is not meant to be in a heavy field car. This is a skirmish unit. It has 1 LMG, 2 assault rifles, 2 rifles, and an NCO with a rifle. I'm guessing one of the riflemen will be the loader for the LMG, and 2 Panzerfausts in total. Now, Gordon, you already know what I'm going to say about this unit, right? It is a good amount of shots coming out of the unit, but the LMG is still 20 points. It is not worth it. Points for value of an LMG is just, it's not really there. It is on a veteran, which makes it a little bit more survivable, which means that you're going to have it for longer, and it is a pretty good skirmish unit. I'm not taking it away. This is most likely the optimized version of a skirmish unit. It's 8 man, so it's pretty big. It can survive for a lot of time. I think skirmish units should be between 6 and 8. My optimized unit size is 7, but 8 is of course better because you're surviving for longer. But again, it's a question of how you spend those points of points for value. Can you get a little bit more out of those extra points somewhere else? Maybe. But this unit, having the assault rifles, having the LMG, it puts out a lot of shots, and it can really move into the midfield because they have Panzerfausts. Do they need 2 Panzerfausts though? Possibly not. I think they should never actually fire that Panzerfaust, so one would be enough, simply to scare away enemy armor. They're not going to. A good enemy would not allow this unit ever to skirmish up into Panzerfaust's range of their Darker Stewards. So I think you can at least cut one of the Panzerfaust out of this unit. And I, of course, would not bring the LMG. I would scrap that, take the rifles. The extra range you will most likely not leave if you're already in the center of the table, which I think you should be. This is being veteran, they're very survivable. They should be in the center of the table skirmishing with the enemy. That is where they belong. Then we have two similar units here, Heer Grenadiers, and I know that Gordon thinks about these like you would with the Soviet Guards units. So they're skirmish units, they're infantry units. They can be backline holders, but they can also push into the middle of the board. They have a Panzerfaust to threaten away enemy armor. Again, I really question those LMGs. The points, I think, could be spent way better. Yes, I understand that they give you the range so that you can be backline holders, but the size of the unit, they are 8-man units. No backline holding unit should be an 8-man unit, in my opinion. These are built as if they should be skirmish units, so pushing forward. And you can already see there's going to be an Osttruppen unit as the final infantry choice here, and that is a perfect backline holding unit. So I guess for skirmish, regular infantry, would I want the LMG? No. I think I would save those points and buy something else, and I'm going to come back to that. So for me, I would cut out the LMG of the Waffen SS. I would cut out the LMGs for the Grenadier units, simply because I think that they can still skirmish without them. Then we have the Osttruppen unit, and this is a full unit of Osttruppen, so a 10-man unit for that full strength bonus. This can outflank, this can be backline holders, this can be whatever you want them to be. What you should not expect them to do is to skirmish, because they're shirkers. They will fail the order tests at some point, especially when they start taking casualties and pins. So this is just a cheap way of putting a lot of bodies on the table. And it really works. A 10-man unit in your back line is never going to die. A 10-man unit on outflank is really a real threat. Yes, they're inexperienced shirkers. Who cares? Because they get that double roll to make it. So that is really good. Medium mortar, inexperienced. Yes, saving the points. Sniper team, regular. You could maybe do without the sniper here, but I know some people really like the snipers, and for a skirmish unit, snipers are really a good idea. Flamethrower, yes, I know that Gordon is bringing a Kugelwagen for this as well. So the Flamethrower Kugelwagen combo, always good, always very nice for board control. It pushes away enemy units from a specific area when you don't want them to go. Really nice. Artillery. And Nebenwerfer, yes. So for me, the choice of teams here is very, very strong. The only team I would consider, and that is cutting out at least 2 of the LMGs, you have enough points to buy an LMG team, which is another unit on the board. It would make it 16 order dice, and it's awesome. It's what the MMG team should be. It is movable, it can move and fire, it has those 5 shots that the other armies get. It's really, really good. So I would cut out the 2 LMGs from at least from the guard squads, the Grenadier units, and then just throw them down, put them in an LMG team. That extra little team would be awesome, I think. And it's a surprisingly good skirmish unit. It's really, really good. The Nebelwerfer is there, of course, to split up the enemy. The medium mortar is there to have that cheap HE shot, and the flamethrower is there for ball control, as is the sniper. The motorcycle is a machine gun sidecar, really, really good, very fun to play, very cheap for what it does. I like it a lot. So again, he's taking all the best that you can here in the German selection. He's taking the medium mortar, he's taking the Nebelwerfer, he's going for the cheap order dies with the sniper and the flamethrower to match his skirmish infantry. I like it. And then the Panzer III Ausf G, which is if you're going to run a medium anti-tank gun, this is the best you can do. And this should be treated like a medium tank, I think, most of the time. It should be sitting in a ruin somewhere where it gets hard cover, and then be on ambush or waiting till late turn and then shoot. Maybe having a lieutenant close by in case it gets pinned. The 8+ armor is not that much when you're going up against Soviet bomb dogs and what have you. So it needs to be in the back line some of the time or most of the time. But against some opponents you can really push with this. And the medium anti-tank gun is not good for HE, but it is good as a tank hunting unit. So for me, this is sort of a pseudo medium tank, as I already mentioned. And it's in the range of what I think is acceptable to pay for a tank. Then the heavy field car for the assault unit with the SMGs and assault rifles, and 2 Kubelwagens, 1 regular, 1 inexperienced. With the regular one, you can put that on the outflank. Inexperienced, just there to transport something. He needs to start on the table, right? Most of the time I think I would put the flamethrower in the inexperienced one, although I do know people who like to put the flamethrower in the regular Kubelwagen, then have it on outflank. And then you would put the lieutenant in the other one, whichever it is. Yeah, so that is the list. And as I said, the only real change I would do is maybe save a few of the points from the infantry units. It's that debate again, right? It's that debate about whether or not you would want your points to be optimized, or whether you would want some of all the bling that you can buy with Germans. You can get access to a lot of really cool stuff, but do you have the points for it, right? In this case, Gordon do have the points, and he buys some of the bling, but not all of it, and he buys a lot of really good units that can do work. I think this is a very, very good attempt at a competitive German list, and this is a very much classical mixed bag list with some armor, some HE artillery type units. Nebelwerfer, I count that as part of that, and a lot of skirmish infantry with some assaulty elements, the flamethrower and the Waffen-SS units. So yeah, really an interesting list, and I really look forward to hearing how this does. I think if you're going to go Germans, I think you need to make mixed bag units like this work. I think it's the way to go with Germans. They haven't got anything special that benefits them in other directions. So you're going to have to actually make use of that range of equipment that you have with the Germans, and you do that best with mixed bag. That's my guess anyway. Right. So that was the video. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me on this list review of Gordon's list, whether there's something you think could be done better. And I hope soon to have the winning list from the Megatron 3000, Andrew McKay's German list for that event, to see what works when you're going theatre. Right. Cheers.